Gibbs, good question here.
Hit me, Lou.
How do you tell if your MUT items are playing well? I give my guys verbal warnings, but what do you look for to know if the player you just spent a gazillion coins on is actually performing well?
I put him in a situation to have success, and then I let him organically either crumble or become a stud, right? So what I mean by that is, for example, like on that last setup we just had there with Y Sale, like if we go right back to that, what I like to do is I really what matters to me the most is zone coverage, and when I'm obviously running this, right? And so I'll put a safety here into this buzz. That's like my base setup, right? So what ends up happening is, though, I want to test the linebackers, right? I want to test, how good is my linebacker zone coverage, and can I just with one hot route, one only, can I click on to buzz him? And now am I going to get him to drop back where I need him to based on play recognition
and it's specifically
zone
a player that you bought for a zone coverage role.
Specifically for zone. Like, I'm going to show you something real quick here. And he got back. Kuechly got back.
Yeah.
But this is, to me, these are little things that you look at when you're looking at ratings, play recognition, pursuit, how quickly the players identify things, right? So let's take a look. At the snap of the ball, I want you to take a look at Kuechly, right? Watch Kuechly. Snap of the ball. What's he doing?
Chilling.
He's chilling. He's like
you need that bro to bail.
I need him to go way quicker.
Do you think you have to pass him to get him to bail?
Don't know. I mean, so that's that step right there, right?
Are you giving him a verbal warning for not dropping back
That's
faster?
kind of one verbal warning, but it might be the buzz zone that I'm putting him on, right? So if I go like this, right? Let me now say, okay, let me put him on a flat, and let me put the safety on a buzz. Now let's see if he goes any quicker on the flat. Snap of the ball. Hot right guy, yeah. Okay. So did you see the difference there? Maybe it's the buzz. Maybe it's the buzz that's the problem for Kuechly because he has to drop too far back and his zone coverage rating's not high enough. I mean, these are all things you have to consider. Like we can't just assume one thing.
It could be his zone coverage.
So,
it could be his.
So when Farrell says Gibbs is a player much like Tweezy, they sit in practice mode and they are methodical, right? So I sit in practice mode and I test these things out to determine, okay, what matters to me. Because if I put him on a flat zone and I put another linebacker on a flat zone and I see a small discrepancy in how quickly they break into the flat, I instantly value a zone coverage rating much higher up my board. But when I drop them into a buzz zone, I got to then think, well, I can't drop linebackers unless they have a 90 threshold, 90 zone coverage to get into the buzz because they're not going to drop back quick enough. So these are all things you have to kind of consider and think about when you're picking players and adjusting. Like, I can't put Kuechly into that purple zone, that buzz zone, if he's not going to have the high enough rating. And I can't say that's Kuechly's fault. That's more of like a ratings threshold. And then you just got to see, do they make plays? Like, if I throw a ball at him, Kuechly jumped up and swatted that ball. Right. That's a check to good job, Kuechly.
But do you want to pick sometimes?
You want to pick. But, like, it's better than him letting the ball soar over his head. That's why Rondé Barber, I gave him a verbal warning because I gave him a couple of verbal warnings because he just let the ball sail over his head too many times. And I thought maybe it's his height. Maybe it's his height, and that's what's causing that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you got to kind of go into consideration. Are they jumping to swat the ball on their own? Are they going for hit sticks on their own? These are all things that you got to consider.
I agree with you. When I purchase a MUT item, what I'm looking for is whatever rating made me want to buy that player. I really only buy players if it's something very, very specific that I like to see. So if it's LaShawn McCoy and he has 99 agility, when I buy that McCoy, if I see a lane and I can't left stick cut to get to that lane, well, then he gets a verbal warning because you have one job, McCoy. You're in there because you're agility. If it's RG3 and he's scrambling out of the pocket and he can't get the acceleration he needs to get to the corner, can't have it. Randall Cunningham, like Tom Brady, if Tom Brady scrambles up the middle and he doesn't get the first down, I don't yell at Tom Brady.
Can't. That's not his strength.
Right. So Brian Dawkins is supposed to have a hammer.
Supposed to.
And Terrell Davis
need it.
Ate his lunch yesterday on MUT Lunch. Brian Dawkins got trucked by Terrell Davis, and I was like, B-Doc, that's a verbal warning. You're making the squad look bad out here. So I give verbal warnings to my MUT players because I like to, if I put them in a specific situation and they don't make the play for the specific thing they're put in. If Deion Sanders is in a flat zone, shaded underneath, and he doesn't break on a late thrown flat ball, that's a verbal warning. How you get a non-verbal warning, the opposite of a verbal warning, if you get praised by say it's man-to-man coverage, Deion Sanders, and my opponent runs corner strike.
Okay.
A route that's going to beat man. If I don't do anything on that side of the field, if I just don't even think corner strike's coming, I just got one man defender over there.
Okay.
And Deion makes a pick, that gets you the opposite because that's you're not supposed to win there without.
That's like +2.
Right.
You weren't supposed to be there.
It's not like if I drop the purple and then Deion didn't make a play on corner strike.
Right.
But if he's manned up, that's how you get a positive reinforcement for something that I didn't tell you to do on the field. The other tip I'll give you guys is you want to use statistics and after the show, like after the game, you want to go into the box score and look at ratings because this happens to everybody, Gibbs. Brian Dawkins gets trucked. It's forever etched in my memory that Terrell Davis ate his MUT lunch on Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, that's a you thing. That's a you problem.
Brian Dawkins could have had 10 tackles in that game.
Yeah. Right.
But
that's
only
the
one
that
play
stands out.
mattered.
Right.
So you need to go to the box score, look at tackles, look at passes defended, look at the actual stats, look at the carries, yards after contact, look at the actual catches you had with the receiver, and be like, oh, I didn't realize Wes Welker had 7 catches in that game because all I remember is the one catch he fumbled. And you don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater if you secretly have a guy who's performing pretty well, getting a couple sacks. Cameron Wake, Justin Tuck, are these guys getting sacks or are they not getting sacks? Because I'm not noticing. That's what the box score is good for after the game to recap what you got going on, in my opinion. So let's jump back into the next mailbag question.